Hello, everyone, and welcome to the New Generation Podcast. How are you all doing today? No matter how you all are feeling, we want to welcome you to the show. My name is Wayne, and I am being hosted by
Savannah
and Sophia.
How are you two doing today?
I'm doing great. How are you guys?
I'm doing pretty good.
I'm doing very well as well. I'm doing amazing today. We wanted to ask our viewers how you all are feeling today because we value your mental health and we want to use this as a space to talk about our mental health.
Yeah, here at New Generation, we really want to foster a community of listeners who are open to talking about some topics that might not usually be mentioned. You know, mental health kind of has a stigma around it, a taboo, if you will, but I think it's really important to make a space to talk about your feelings, emotions, and mental health as a whole.
Especially, yeah, it's so important to open up about mental health because it allows so many people to be heard and makes people know that they're not alone in their struggles.
Yeah, for today, as we are all high school students, we're going to be talking about a very well-known topic for us, and it is, drumroll please, high school.
Yes, specifically about the social and academic aspects of high school and the mental health challenges associated with these areas.
Yep. So introducing our topic.
High school is one of the first times you're really meant to balance everything. Academics, social life, family expectations, and sometimes your mental health can get lost in everything. I know specifically as a high schooler taking college courses that it's hard to find time to do all the homework for all the classes and still have time for everything else the rest of your life.
You're in dual enrollment? Like you're taking college at the same time?
Yeah, I am. I'm taking college classes at the college campus. It's crazy.
That's actually crazy because at my school, we have a couple of students who take dual enrollment, high school and college at the same time. And I always wonder, man, how do these people manage that?
They have no lives.
Yeah. Yeah. And for me personally, just in school alone, there's the schoolwork, there are tests. I feel like I have tests every single week and doing homework. And I'm also the class president. So not only the schoolwork and the homework, but also being class president. This is my 4th year as class president. And even outside of school, at home as well, finding time with my family, spending time with my sister, and even outside of that, thinking of the whole community, the entire St. Louis community. What can I do to serve everyone in this community? And so taking all this together, sometimes it feels like a giant mountain of burdens is just crushing me. And so finding that balance, finding what is too much for me, what is too little for me is so important.
Yeah. Especially as a college student and taking college classes, it can be a lot to manage. And I know that I get lost trying to figure out how to manage my math class when I have so much work in ELA and history to get done. And even through all of that, like trying to find time with my family, finding time with my friends, it's hard to find time for everything and still be energized at the end of the day.
Yeah, it really is hard to find that balance, and sometimes I'm wondering how people before me did it, you know, but we can realize that everyone here is balancing their own things. Sometimes it almost feels all-consuming.
Yeah, so when did high school become so all-consuming?
Well, for me, I'd say it was around junior year. It really started to feel like my academics, my sports, my friends, everything was coming to a head almost, and it felt like everyone around me was putting pressure to be the best and do everything the way it was meant to be, make no mistakes, be perfect in my sport, have perfect grades, be the best friend I can be, and, you know, fill all the areas of my life. But in reality, that's not so easy.
So in other words, you have to be perfect in everything?
Yeah, and I don't think that's possible.
Yeah.
And I know, again, taking college courses, there's a lot of pressure to be performing the same or as well as you did in high school when it's not the same work. It's a lot more. It's a lot more. And okay, yeah.
Yeah, speaking of junior year was a big year for me because as class president during junior year, I was working with the other class officers to plan for prom. And to plan for prom, we have to search out a venue that will work for us to host the prom at. And so do you guys want to guess how many venues we had to look at before we could choose one that would be suitable?
How many?
I'm gonna guess 10.
Do you want to know the answer?
Yes.
We looked at 41 different prom venues before we could find one that would actually be suitable, because a lot of them, they were too expensive or they weren't available or just other problems. And you can imagine all the afternoons that we spent touring these venues, and also the late nights we had meeting with people, planning for events, fundraisers, movie nights, trivia nights, all of this work. And wow, it really, that alone just took up so much time. And sometimes I felt so overwhelmed by all that. So junior year was definitely tough.
Yeah, it's so interesting. I'm sure there was a bunch of people relying on you to really make that happen. How was that pressure? How did you deal with that?
The thing is, when we chose the last venue, we didn't even get to see it because it was just the last option we had. And so students were asking, hey, is this year's prom going to be so good? And I was like, well, yeah, it's going to be so amazing, even though we had not seen the venue yet. And so, yeah, with all the demands and requests and expectations of the students on me, it was definitely difficult. But I always had that optimistic mindset that everything is going to be okay. We might not be able to control the outcome, but we can do everything possible in our power.
Yeah, I think that's a really good attitude to look at it. You know, expectations are difficult, and it's difficult to succeed at everything that's put in front of you. But when you approach it with positivity, it really tends to work itself out.
Yeah. Sometimes that can lead to burnout, though.
Yeah, how so? What is burnout?
I think of burnout when I'm putting in all this energy and I'm just done. I'm just so depleted of energy and my motivation is gone, and I just find that I can't really do anything anymore. And that's the time when I just need to step back and really take some rest.
That's relatable. I can think of times where I spent the whole week thinking about tests and essays and assignments that I had due. And by the time I got to the weekend, I didn't have any motivation to actually have fun. It felt hard to really live my life.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, I can totally relate to that, especially when you have so many things to do. You have no energy left for other people, and when trying to help other people, because other people rely on you too, you can't help them as effectively as you could if you were okay. So it's important to it's important to help other people. What am I talking about?
Yeah, like helping yourself first before
helping
others.
yourself first before help other people, because even if it makes that you can't help other people to the ability that you would otherwise, and you also can't. It also could damage your relationship with that person. I know with my friends, like I struggle to help them at times because they can't. I don't know.
Yeah, that reminds me. Where can I get help with tutoring?
Yeah, tutoring's a big thing right now. A lot of parents are worried because academic pressures, college competition is building up. But luckily, Bright Minds Tutoring has you covered. Bright Minds Tutoring is an emerging organization in the state of Missouri, offering tutoring services for free to people throughout elementary schools. If you would like to start your own chapter at an elementary school, or if your child or you simply needs tutoring for free, check out Bright Minds Tutoring. You can go to their Instagram, Bright Minds Tutoring Mo, which stands for Missouri. If you look that up on Instagram, you can contact the owner and get started.
Well, I don't need tutoring, but what if I need help for my elderly friend?
Yeah. Housing is important for everyone, especially with it getting cold. Hope Housing Options Provided for the Elderly mission is to help older adults live with dignity and independence in the housing most appropriate to their circumstances. If you or someone you know is over 65 and in the St. Louis area and are in need of housing, you can visit hopestl.net and they will get you set up with housing. They help with furniture. They do so much for the elderly people of St. Louis. And even if you aren't elderly or don't need help, you can also donate to provide more funding for Hope so that they can provide more services at the same website, hopestl.net.
Wow, that sounds like a really great mission, providing help for the elderly and then also for young elementary school kids. And now let's come back to high schoolers.
Let's talk about the social aspect, shall we? It's so crazy how in all the high school movies there's cliques and there's drama and all this stuff. But is it really real?
Yeah, are the movies real? Is high school
Chat,
just
is this
like,
real?
is high school just like it is in the movies?
Well, I think that cliques aren't necessarily super accurate, but it's also important to find your community, whether that is a typical group like the athletes or the artistic people. It's important to realize that finding your group is going to help you find your way. You know, high school is a time when everyone is discovering who they are and who they're meant to be. So it's really important to find people to lean on.
Yeah, I know. I can also take time to find your group. I didn't find my friend group till almost the end of freshman year. It's crazy.
Yeah, and finding your people is so important because, especially in America, we often get in the mindset that, oh, I can go through life alone. I can be my own superhero. I don't need anyone else. But the reality is we really do need other people to stand with us and support us in times of trouble. So my advice is definitely find a group of people that you can really resonate with, that will always stand with you, that will just be super tight knit. And also just realize that you're not in the struggle alone. Often with all these burdens in high schools, it feels like you're by yourself in the middle of a large crowd and everyone's just going on with their own lives and life is just passing by and it feels like you're just going through your troubles alone. But the reality is that the other people, they're going through the same troubles as you. They're also trying to find their people. They're also worried about academics. They're also navigating with all these different issues in their lives. They might not talk about it openly, but they are going through the same things as you are. And so don't be afraid to talk about your struggles with other people. And when you talk about your own life and what you're going through, that's going to get them to open up to you as well.
Yeah, and that's what we really hope to do here at New Generation is create a space where these feelings are open and talked about and to help other people navigate what we have gone through. You know, me and Wayne are currently seniors in high school and Sophie is currently a junior. So we're kind of at the tail end of things, but it's really important to know that high school is temporary and if you don't find your people, it's okay.
Yeah. High school is a space for messing up and making mistakes. It's where you're supposed to make mistakes.
Yeah. So whenever you guys get feelings of stress, what do you do?
What I do, I like to step back and take a break, whether it's for an hour or a day. It's just important to have time where you set all that aside and you don't think about it, you don't look at it, you don't talk about it. Time for relaxing.
That's good. What do you like to do in times of relaxing?
Well, I like to go on walks, or I like to draw, and I like to play games like solitaires. That's definitely a relaxing game that I find very enjoyable.
I love doing that as well. I love taking walks every single day, and I'll hit on that in a little bit. But for me, one thing that really helps is having a routine. Because for a lot of people, they sometimes might look like I have so many burdens, and it can just, if I'm not careful, my whole life can get messed up. And I know a lot of my friends don't really have schedules. They don't really have a daily routine in their lives. So they just wake up whenever they feel like waking up. Sometimes they go to bed at 10. Sometimes they go to bed at 3 a.m. in the morning. And living in this kind of disorganized way always makes them feel very exhausted and unproductive. Sometimes they'll be doing homework for 10 hours. Sometimes they'll be scrolling on their phone for not a lot. So living a life that's very disorganized, it's not really effective. For me, I always like to set aside chunks. Like this period of time from 4 to 5 will be homework time. This period of time will be time with family. I like to wake up at 5 every morning, which is pretty early. Yeah.
I don't know how you exist like that.
Yeah, but I like to take walks in the morning. Usually they're pretty long walks. They're 2-hour long walks. And
No
so
wonder you get up at 5.
yeah, so that strategy definitely works. And just being up in the morning before the sun is out, just everything is so quiet. Everything is so special. And it really has a calming effect on me.
Oh yeah, have you ever seen one of those beautiful sunrises in the
Oh,
morning?
yeah.
They're gorgeous. I know,
Yes.
because I drive to school every morning at like 7ish when the sun's just coming up. It's amazing.
Wow,
Absolutely,
I love
yeah.
that. Yeah.
Especially recently, it's been snowing, and so
Oh,
when the
yeah,
snow, when
it's
it's like a
gorgeous.
blanket of
Like
white
when the
snow.
sun hits it just right, it's amazing.
Yeah, so that is really calming. That really prepares me for the day. And it's a good time to take a break from all the noise and stress of life. And just having a schedule makes it so that I'm living my life in an organized way. I feel like I'm on top of things and not all over the place. And so that really helps as well.
I really like that. I like having a set aside time for homework so that after 5 o'clock, I'm not looking at this anymore. I'm not dedicating any more time, energy, motivation to my homework. I think that's a really great way to prevent burnout. For me, I really like taking breaks. I like that you guys said that. For me, whenever I do take a break from an assignment I've been working at for a long time, it allows me to, get a fresh approach to it when I come back, really get my mind focused and lock in. Yeah. I know some people say that.
Yeah, I know that taking a break and coming back to something definitely helps you look at it with a fresh pair of eyes.
Yeah.
And you can see something that you may have missed before.
I love that.
Yeah.
So what about pressure from everyone else? I know finding your friends is important, but once you have your friend group, where else can pressure come from?
Oh, definitely your family. I mean, like school, right? I'm not at school every single day, but I am with my family every single day. And
Good point.
They definitely give a lot of pressure, especially in the senior year when I'm applying to college. They have put a considerable, I wouldn't say a lot of pressure, but a considerable amount of pressure on me because they really want me to get into a good college. A lot of Asian parents are like that.
Yeah.
Yes. And yeah, that just navigating that has been a challenge. What I always emphasize is just responding in love. It's easy to get thrown into anxious torments, but I always want to stay calm and understand their perspective, listen to them, talk things out peacefully, and just love them as much as I can.
Yeah, I'd really try to remember that my parents aren't trying to come after me or attack me. They're really coming at it with love, and they want to see me succeed and do good things. A lot of that pressure, sometimes it's good pressure, pressure creates diamonds, but it's also important to let your feelings be known and communicate with your family if they are giving you too much pressure in a situation, to say, I know, I'm aware.
Yeah. I know my mom really pushed me into doing a lot of extracurriculars this year because I hadn't done any previously. Which it was hard. It was hard to do everything while she kept hounding me to do much extracurriculars. And she keeps hounding me about getting my driver's license and learning to drive. Which not only is it important to acknowledge the other people's opinions, but it's also important to recognize what you're capable of doing. And for me, I know that I'm not ready for driving yet. So it's important to recognize that.
That is so
Great
important.
point.
Yeah, I know I'm just thinking of my classmates right now who signed up for 6, 7 AP classes.
Oh my goodness,
Oh, yeah,
I feel
they're
bad
really
for them.
pushing themselves. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I just don't want us to really push ourselves too much to the point where we're not enjoying life anymore. Right? I know college is important. I know people want to prepare for that, but high school, we're all still young people. We should take this time to enjoy our lives and not just fill every single moment of our lives with strenuous work.
It can feel like if you aren't doing all that you're gonna get nuked pretty much. And it's important to recognize that your life will not end even if you don't get all A's or if you don't have all the extracurriculars. Which, another one extracurricular my mom kept pushing me to join was the youth advisory board. Talk about that.
Yeah.
That's so interesting. Listeners, are you interested in making change in the world? Are you interested in being a good impact on your local St. Louis community? Or are you a current high schooler? Well, look no further.
If so, then you should join State Senator Brian Williams' Youth Advisory Board. We are based right here in St. Louis City, and we work with the entire community to address community issues such as food insecurity, voter registration, and more. Last year, we focused on expanding literacy in juvenile detention centers. We worked with the state legislature to get a bill introduced to require libraries in juvenile detention centers, and we also made book drives to there, and we're doing so much more this year as well. So it's a really wonderful effort. You should definitely join us.
Even if you can't help the community through that way, are there other ways to help your community?
Absolutely. My school has an organization called Dance Marathon. Dance Marathon works with local hospitals to raise money for children who are in need of that money, who are also hospitalized. That is a really important effort considering how expensive hospitalization is in America. Dance Marathon is also a national organization, so if you would like to donate, you can donate at Dance Marathon's website, or you can go, if you want to donate to our local school, you can go to Clayton Dance Marathon. That's the Instagram account, and donate there. Thank you very much.
That's so cool. Well, we've already established that high school is a huge transition, not only academically, but socially. I know my co-hosts hate when I say this, but high school is like being a small fish in a very big pond.
So true.
So, what is something you would say to our viewers to help them navigate this time?
Definitely remember your priorities. Remember what's really important for you. Think of a bottle, like a glass jar, and think of putting in big rocks in there first. The big rocks represent the important things in life. And then after that, you can have medium-sized petals that you put in there. And then after you put all those in there, you can pour in the sand last, and it just fills up the remaining cracks. Do you see what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, not only is prioritizing important, but it's also important to check in with people. Make sure how they're doing, and if you do that, people will check in with you. And it's a good opportunity to just vent your frustrations, which can help provide calming and get stuff off your chest, make the weight lighter.
Yeah. And going back to that analogy, if you put in all the sand first, then if the whole jar is filled with sand first, then you're not going to be able to put in the big and medium-sized rocks in there anymore. So put in the big rocks first, and then fill in the gaps with the medium rocks, and then pour in the remaining gaps with the sand. So what that means is find out what's the most important in your life first, right? Get that settled with. And then if you have any more room, then you can address the optional things in your life. So remember your priorities. That is very important.
I really like that. For me, a really important thing is setting boundaries and really recognizing when I do have energy for other people and when I don't. We always talked about burnout and talked about, contributing your energy to other people, but it's important to fill your cup first. It's important to realize that you might not have the motivation or the energy or the time to be there with your friends all the time because you haven't spent time to focus on yourself. You haven't spent time to focus on your emotions and how you're feeling.
Exactly. I mean, I know I can't hang out with my friends until I'm well rested and have enough energy to deal with them. That's real.
Yeah, and that reminds me of, you might know this saying, before you change the world, go change your community. But before you change your community, change your own family. But before you change your family, change a friend. And before you do that, change yourself.
I like
so,
that.
Yeah, so it's this idea of, like, if you don't have your own life in order, how are you going to try to improve the lives of other people? So focus on yourself first. Try to get your own life in order first, and then kind of work your way there and try to help a friend, and then expand, but don't be like many people who just immediately jump to trying to help so many people at once, and it ends up burning them out.
I know another good point is failure. If you don't reach that goal, if you succumb to the pressure, is that okay?
Yeah, failing is a learning opportunity, and even if you have to do something 10, 20, 100 times, each time you take something away from that experience, and you can apply that to the next opportunity. And even so, with high school, it's not the end of the world if you don't get all the perfect grades, if you don't do all the extracurriculars. You'll still be able to succeed very well, even if you don't.
Yeah, I just want to remind that, like, high school is, a lot of it's about learning, right? I'm in the college application season, and a lot of it feels like a modeling show. It feels like we have to, it feels like, with the resumes and all that stuff, it feels like presenting ourselves at a modeling show. Yeah, that we have to be perfect. But I think a lot of that is delusional, and it takes away really the purpose of high school is we don't have to be perfect. We're here to learn.
High school is for messing up, like I keep saying.
Yeah, exactly. For growth.
Yeah, really a time to grow and understand yourself. So, now that we've talked about all these points, it's important to remember the key points. Be patient with yourself. Don't be afraid to fail, and always make time to focus on your mental health.
Exactly.
Absolutely. And we can rest assured that we don't have to feel guilty about taking breaks, but have those breaks, right? There's this fear in my school that if you take breaks, you're losing control of your situation. Like, there's so much that I need to get done. I just need to be so on top of everything. And it's rooted in this anxiety about the future. Like, I don't know what's going to happen in my future. And so because of that, I want to try to take advantage of this situation as much as possible. I want to feel like I'm in control. And when we take breaks, we're not really doing anything, and it seems like we're not being productive, and then that creates a feeling of guilt for people. But learn to let go of that feeling of guilt, and be able to take breaks and rest assured that everything's going to be okay. And now, I want to thank all of you all for listening to us today. We hope that this space has really allowed you to reflect on your own mental health and what you can do moving forward. We hope that all of the advice we have presented and all of our own testimonies have really inspired you. And greater than all that, we just want New Generation Podcast to be a place where we talk about our mental health openly, because this is a topic that deserves to be talked about. People have stories that have not been shared yet and deserve to be heard. And so if this resonated with you, make sure to tune in to our next episode on the New Generation Podcast, and we'll be glad to see you there.
Where can we find New Generation in the meantime?
Well, you can find New Generation through the Beat District Radio.
Absolutely. And this is Wayne,
Savannah,
And Sophia.
on the Beat District Radio, tuning out. Thank you so much, all of you, for watching, and we will see you next time.